if you pull the microphone so you are almost kissing the microphone, that's perfect. You
that's more like, okay, I can hear myself now. All right. I'll spit all over it.
No problem. If the greatest spits on our microphone, that's fine. Yeah. So I'm just going to give you a little introduction how we do this, because we are pretty new at this. We've done it for 2 years to have some artists here around the table. So we're going to start with a jingle, then we're going to open up and talk a little bit, and then we're going to surprise you with questions.
Okay, surprise away.
Yeah, perfect. So here we go. Yes, welcome back to the Superhero Club, and we're going to take this episode in English now because we have a very special guest, Jim Starlin. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. I surprised
welcome
you.
Back.
Yeah, but we want you back another day, so we say it the first time. So how is it being at the Comic-Con in Sweden?
It's been fun so far. I wasn't sure what to expect. It's low-key, it's very comfortable, and I'm having a great time.
Good.
And I had Swedish meatballs last night.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, the first day there, you got to do that.
Yeah. So do you have any things that you wanted to do when you came here? Is it the first time in Sweden?
This is the first time here. There's a couple of museums I want to check out when the convention's over, and just sort of sightsee in general.
Okay. What kind of museums are you interested in?
Art.
Art,
okay,
of
course.
Yeah, we have some art.
Strangely enough.
Yeah. Great knows great, you know.
So I'm going to open up a little bit, because you have another person here that has done something with you. He's sitting in front of you. His name is Johan. He has translated part of your book, The Cosmic Glove, or The Infinity Gauntlet, to Swedish. So he is the... What you say? I leave it to you to talk about it.
I've translated the parts that George drew, and my colleague translated the parts that Ron drew. But I'm also the editor of the book, so I'm not usually in this pod. They invited me when they said they knew that you were going to be here.
So somebody just gave me a free copy of that.
Yeah,
was that you?
That was me.
Yes, it was you.
Yeah.
Okay. I never look up at who I'm talking to.
You again? Okay.
Yeah. So we have a couple of questions, of course, but I'm going to leave the floor a little bit to talk for Johan to talk to you, because he has something to do with the creation that you have created. So I think if it's okay with Johan, I leave a little bit up to you.
I'm just the translator. That's just what I've done. But I have some questions. That's
fire away.
So. Let's start from the beginning. I guess when you got the job to take over Warlock back in the 70s, when reading that story, one gets the impression that you got pretty free reins in doing whatever you wanted.
Before I did Warlock, I did a book called Captain Marvel, which was... The sales were in the toilet.
Yeah.
It was really bad. And Roy Thomas was the only editor up there. He did everything, and so he just sort of let me run. And I had my run on Captain Marvel and went over to DC for a bit, and then came back to Marvel. And Roy asked me what I wanted to do, and so I looked through a bunch of comics, and I said, well, Warlock's cool. But I like to take my characters on a journey. With Captain Marvel, I took him, he was a warrior, and I took him to a point where he became sort of a spiritual holy man.
Yeah.
So I got a hold of Warlock, and up until that point, they've been doing Jesus Christ superhero with him in the comics, very, very blatantly. And so he was a holy man to begin with, so I thought to myself, well, where am I going to take him? And eventually decided that I should change the holy man into a paranoid schizophrenic with suicidal tendencies, which was, I guess, not what anyone was expecting, but it kind of worked out okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, because you weren't on the title for that long. It was like 15 issues or something like that, or
Probably less than that. It was like 10. Most of the time I spend like 10. Dreadstar, my regular series, is the only thing I've ever done more than 10 issues of. Yeah.
But at the end of the Warlock series, you killed off Warlock.
Sort of,
yeah. But then 14 years later...
Was it that long? Okay.
Yeah, Infinity Gauntlet. And then you resurrected him.
The reason I resurrected him, another writer up at Marvel was threatening to do it.
Ah, okay.
And I didn't like this writer's writing. So I said, in self-defense, I've got to bring him back. And so that's how he ended up in the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, okay.
And it worked out kind of nice because I got to bring back Pip and Gamora also.
Yeah.
So.
But you both wrote and drew Warlock and Captain Marvel as well. How is it different in writing to someone else, like you did in the Infinity Gauntlet? You didn't draw that. You wrote it for George first, and then Ron.
It depends on the artist. I've worked with 4 artists extensively: George Perez, Ron Lim, Bernie Wrightson, and Alan Davis. And with George and Ron, they came from pretty much the same place I did in comics, which was being inspired by Jack Kirby. And so whenever I wrote something for either of them, it came out pretty much the way I had it in my head. Alan Davis was much more illustrative, and so it was sort of what I looked like, but it looked better. He draws so well, I hate him. Bernie, on the other hand, Bernie and I were really good friends, and we lived only a few miles from each other, and so we saw each other all the time. But I would write something for Bernie, and it would never come out looking the way I saw it in my head. It always worked, but it was always different than what I had envisioned. So he was the most interesting one to work with. They're all good to work with, or I wouldn't have worked with them.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think it was Kurt Busiek who said that when I work with George Perez, I just throw in as much characters as possible. Just
my project was sort of like that even before George was assigned to it. Ron Lim was supposed to draw it from the beginning.
All of it?
Yes, he had been doing the Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
And George came over, and next thing I knew, I didn't know he was coming on. Next thing I knew, he was doing the pencils for the first few books. But he didn't stay with the project because he was also doing a Wonder Woman project over at DC. Yeah. And he thought that would be the one that was more successful. And so he went back to Wonder Woman, and Ron came back onto the Gauntlet, and everything was fine as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you worked with Ron on the Thanos quest as well.
The Thanos quest and Silver Surfer before that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, if we go a little bit back in your history, like when you started out, like when you started in the business, did you have any I want to do this? This is going to be my job. That you had that thought in your head, or did it just this led to that and after a while you were working with it, or was it the dream from the start to work with comics?
When I was about 8 years old, I was looking through and they didn't give credits for people who wrote and drew these comics back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was the 1950s and 60s and that. And one day as I was looking through an adventure comic book that had Green Arrow in the back, the artist Lee Elias had hidden his signature in among some shrubbery.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I spotted it, and it was like a light went off. I went, people do this for a living.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do when I grow up. Yeah. And I sort of geared myself at that point for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Now I'm completely unemployable at anything other than what I do.
Okay.
I set my head into doing this, and around the same time, I had a nightmare one night, and my mother said, "It's those comics."
Of course.
Comics. Yeah. So I had to hide all my comics in these rafters in the garage. And I would do my drawing down in the basement.
Oh, okay. Right.
And I hid it from her for a long time. She finally gave up.
Okay.
But it was good practice because when I went into the service, into the Navy, I still wanted to draw. But the first time somebody saw me drawing, I think it was the Hulk. Guy wasn't very bright, and he went, "You gay or something?"
Okay.
Yeah.
So I started hiding my drawings there.
Oh,
too.
yeah. The gay icon, the Hulk.
Yeah, exactly. By the time I got done with my term in the service, I was not hiding it anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I read up a little bit on you, of course, because you're going to be here. But I saw something interesting, and I wanted to ask you: Upstart Studios or Upstart Associates? What was that for something? What was that?
It was Walt Simonson, Howard Chaykin, myself, another artist named Val Merrick, who came in with us at that point, and then he was replaced by Jim Sherman, who did a lot of Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah.
And when I left, Frank Miller came in and took my place.
Yeah, because we had Howard on last year or last time, and I didn't ask him about it because the time. You know Howard, so you know he can talk. So the time just flew away from us. So we didn't actually get so many questions in. We got a lecture for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It was awesome because he really talked from his point of view how the industry works, and it was perfect. But we didn't ask so many questions. There was more like, I think we asked maybe 5 questions. Then he just went on a ramble, and we just sat and listened like a class.
And we're grateful for that.
Yeah, we were very grateful. It was
very.
an epic night. But you've been working on both Marvel and DC.
Yes.
And you created characters or storylines for both of them. How was like the process of working like with Ray Thomas and John Romita and stuff like that? Like was it what you thought like when you came up? I'm going to work with those guys.
Never occurred to me that I was working with anybody.
Okay.
I just came in there, and I didn't draw very well when I first got there. And so they made me the art director.
Okay.
They had never had an art director before. And so I became like the unofficial art director. I would get to the office, and they would hand me a bunch of Xeroxes of what was inside the comic books. And my job was design up a cover for somebody like John Buscema or Gil Kane or somebody to actually pencil.
Okay.
And so I would do this up in the morning, and then Stan would come in the afternoon, and I'd take my sketches into him. And it was always the same story because there was always going to be I knew there was going to be some redrawing. And he'd come in and go, terrific, but. And then he would take off his glasses, put it on the chair, and he would crawl up on the desk. And he'd act out how he wanted Thor or the Silver Surfer to look. And I'd do a little sketch. and then I would wait.
Yeah.
Because about 1 out of every 5 times, he would get off the desk, and he'd put his glasses on the chair.
Yeah.
And he would sit on them and break them. And I'd sit there. And then he would reach over to the intercom, which you had back in those days, and he'd go, "Holly, I've done it again." And she'd bring in a new pair of glasses, take the remnants away, and we'd go on from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I haven't heard that kind of story. I heard things about him crawling on desks and stuff, but
he
breaking
did it
the
all the
glasses,
time.
it sounds lovely.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
probably had a big box of extra glasses.
Yeah.
I think there was an optometrist like 2 blocks away.
All right, yeah.
I think she was just running them down.
Maybe they opened it there because they knew he would sit on the glasses all the time. It's a great business practice.
Stan was a hero, yes.
Yeah.
So, do you have any like big influences on you, like that made you who you are, like how your art turned out, or is it like internal for you?
The 2 big ones were Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko.
Okay. Yeah.
When I was 16 years old, I came to New York City with my parents to see the World's Fair. And they let me take a subway into the city. And there were certain artists I wanted to meet. And so I got on the phone book, and most of them blew me off. But Steve Ditko said, "Where are you at?" And I said, "Well, I'm just down the street from you." And he said, "Come on up." And he let me in his studio for about an hour, and we talked, and he suggested things, and he was very helpful. He was my hero.
Yeah.
You know. He was the nicest fascist you'd ever want to meet.
I can see that. I would love to have met all of them because, like, I'm an 80s kid, so I'm not so old. I'm just 40. But for me, yeah, I know. Haha, you're young.
I'm not even 30.
No. But like growing up with comics, for me in Sweden, it was like we didn't get all the comics. So, and we almost only got the ones that were translated into Swedish. So we didn't get the American comics. But now, in the older days, when you started like collecting and stuff, you can see so much, and you can revisit them in a different way because it's a different comic book when it's in Swedish. But when you get it in English, and you can hear the dialogue in another way because it's more exactly how it was meant to be written.
It was the original, yes.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's another thing. But I was reading a little bit, and one of my favorite characters growing up was Batman. And I saw that you did a storyline, right? I'm seeing if I got this right, Death in the Family. Yeah, that was a controversial thing, right? Like, wasn't it like they called in if they wanted to kill Robin or something?
Okay, there was a story here.
Yeah.
At one point, DC Comics decided they wanted to do an AIDS book.
Yeah.
And being the sensitive souls that they are,
Yeah.
they put up a suggestion box in the office for us to put names of characters in that we wanted to give AIDS to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I loaded it with Robin.
Yeah.
I was writing Batman at the time and avoiding using Robin because I always thought that if you're going to go off and fight crime in a gray and black outfit, you shouldn't bring a kid along in primary colors.
No.
You might as well just put a target on his forehead.
Yeah.
Child abuse is putting it mildly.
Yeah.
So I always avoided using them. And when Denny O'Neil, the editor, came up with the idea of the call-in, because we had the thing where people called in and voted whether Robin was going to live or die. And he remembered me with Robin in all my lectures about I don't want to use Robin, because he had forced me to use Robin in a couple of stories. And one of them, I turned him into a murderer.
Yeah.
So he knew I didn't like Robin. So nobody liked that particular Robin anyhow, so it didn't matter. He came up with the idea, and he said, we'll write this thing. It has the two endings. And we did it. And at the time that the vote was going out, Denny was doing all the shows, talk shows, morning talk shows and that. And he was taking credit for everything.
Of course. Yeah.
That was fine. But then when the book came out, they had never told licensing, the people who did the pajamas and all the lunch boxes,
Yeah.
that we were going to kill Robin. And so the corporate heads, they just went nuts. And they said, somebody's got to pay for this.
Of course. Yeah.
And so it went down the line, and Denny threw me under the bus. And
course.
within about a month after having sold their best-selling book that year, all my work at DC dried up.
Okay.
I was suddenly unemployed up at DC. So I had to go over at Marvel. And that's when I did the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Right.
Good
So-
work.
So
by the
it
way.
all worked out.
Yeah. Just kill Robin and you get a better job at Marvel.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Did you call in yourself?
Yeah, exactly. That was the next question. What did you call
no,
him?
I was in Mexico at the time.
All right.
And just didn't find out until I came back.
Okay.
I recently read that it was very close. It was,
72 votes out of 10,000.
Right.
Statistically, it was a dead heat.
Yeah.
I think Bob Kane was voting in, calling in a lot, trying to save Robin.
Do you think that vote was powered by people that either didn't like the character or that they thought there would be an interesting arc to kill him? What do you think?
nobody liked Jason Todd.
Nobody liked him, and I particularly think that most of you comic book fans are a bunch of ghouls. So I expected to be overwhelmingly dead, and I was very surprised when it came out that it was as close as it was.
Right, but because it's a huge thing to leave up to the readers, and as we know, like the fans of the content are always the worst haters as well.
Yeah. Well, more so now with the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so when the time passes on and you see all the development around like how to make comic books, like today when they are online, you can read them online. You don't need to get the paper copy. what do you think, or what do you feel about that? Do you think it's a good thing, or should it be like real?
When I sit on the throne, I want to have a paper copy.
Perfect.
Right. Yeah,
You're in the right company here, because I can see that. Okay, it's easier for readers to get a hold of the material, but then you don't have anything. It's like with movies and stuff. Like, you can watch them on Netflix, but you want them in your shelf because one day the internet's gonna die. And then if you have a physical copy, you can put that in your DVD or Blu-ray or something, and you can watch it. Same with the comics. You can read them because you have them.
And also, it's the page turning, right? You know, bringing up another big page and seeing the next part of the story is, I think, a huge part of the experience.
Plus, I don't want to take my iPad to the bathroom.
No, of course.
I watched Rasmus. We were sharing a hotel room last night, and he was reading. He was sitting on his phone against the wall like this, and I was asking, "What are you doing? Are you on the phone?" "I'm reading comics," and I can't imagine reading comics on this little small screen. Not even while on the toilet, but like at all. I'm super for the physical media. So
yeah, I did it once, reading a comic on a phone. That was enough.
Right.
Just for the experience.
Jim, I have a question. I recently read your Batman work, and I got the impression when I read the Nightwing issue you did that it's pretty obvious that you don't like Jason Todd, but I think you wrote a great Nightwing.
Okay, I remember next to nothing about that particular story. I didn't get to kill it. Didn't get my main character to kill anybody.
Oh, man.
That was one of the stories that Denny forced on me.
Okay.
He said, "You need to do one with Nightwing and Robin." And I went, "Okay, I'll do one."
Do you still get that today? Like, do you have your passion projects today, or do you still get pushed on doing?
Oh, I don't work for either Marvel or DC anymore.
Oh,
I work on my own character, Dreadstar.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I own and have complete control over, and I have a piece of the publishing company, so I do whatever I want. I've always been the most self-indulgent artist that I know.
Right.
Yeah.
About Dreadstar, how was the beginning with the first comics back in the 80s? You were a lot of young guns by that time that started in this company.
Yes, well, it didn't actually start in first. It started at Marvel in Epic Comics through Epic Illustrated. Then I took, because I own it, I took it and did the price over at a company named Eclipse.
Yep.
Then went back over to Marvel and we started up the comic book line. And somewhere around issue 30, I got in trouble with somebody up at bookkeeping at Marvel. And all my checks started disappearing. They would be printed up, and before they ever made it to the mailroom, they disappeared. And so I was not getting paid. And so that broke the contract, and so that's when I took it over to First. And we did like up to 60 issues there, and First went out of business. And so later on, I did Breed over at Malibu, and we did Peter David did a female version of Dreadstar for Malibu. And now at Monkey Wrench Press, which is my company for Dreadstar, the third graphic novel is bringing back Kala Dreadstar, who is supposed to be Dreadstar's daughter. And we're handling it in such a way that, like Rashomon, the Japanese movie about multiple tales, different perspectives, we're taking the original Peter David, Ernie Colon Dreadstar run, reprinting it, and that's going to be the Lord Papal's version of it. And my new graphic novel, Dreadstar versus Dreadstar, is Dreadstar's version of what happened.
Okay.
So we got two different stories, two different endings.
Were you involved in any way with Peter when he wrote his Dreadstar?
I pretty well let him go.
Yeah.
I always thought Peter was a terrific writer. I'd seen his Spider-Man run before then, and he had been doing Dreadstar for First for me. He took over the writing on it for me.
Yeah.
And so I was a little hesitant when he said he wanted to do a female one, but I said, okay, we'll give it a shot. And to tell you the truth, it was it was the one story Peter did, and I was kind of disappointed. I was never as happy about that story. I didn't think he wrote as good a story for that particular Dread Star as he had for other things. So this new way is a new going back and saying, this is how I thought things should have gone. So it's, I talked to Peter about it before he passed away, so he knew this was coming. It's kind of an interesting story. I think it'll go over nicely.
I had a question about Dread Star because we live in you experienced the Silver Age and big fan of it, I suppose. But we live in the golden age of movies now and TV shows. Is Dread Star something you would like to see become adapted to more like a movie or a comic book show or something like that?
We're working on it.
You are?
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
We haven't got a... Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay.
I gotta leave it at that.
No problem. It's just because I've been reading Dread Star for quite a while, like that. So I always imagine it in a way, in my head. I can see it like this.
I don't want a movie though. I'm not going to do a movie.
Okay, it's going to be more of a series.
I've had producers come up and they said no, it's not. It won't work as a movie.
Exactly. Good.
It's got to be a long story.
Yeah. Perfect.
So we're trying to. Streaming services.
Yeah, just because of when you read it, you see that it's not just one story like this. You need to have a bigger experience to get the experience because I see it maybe a 12-part episode for series 1 to build on to season 2 because I would like 10 seasons of it because it's so much. And do you have? I ask it. You don't need to answer. But do you have a favorite actor to play the role?
I have several.
Okay, yeah.
But the overwhelming person that everybody else thinks should be Charlie Hume from Son of Anarchy.
Yeah.
He's on my list too. But I got a few others too.
Right.
Can I ask who the others are for you?
Okay. One of them was the good son in Yellowstone. I'm terrible with names.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
He was the cowboy son.
Yeah.
I think his name's Russell something or other, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not good with names, but I know who you mean.
Yeah.
I just watched Yellowstone, so it's I can see that, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's this new guy who's out, Josh Hartley.
Tracker. Yeah.
He would be good. I mean, he always has a beard, so he looks like he'd do a good Van Dyke.
Yeah.
But it's going to be who it is when the time comes.
Yeah.
Because actors are not available when you want them, and somebody new may come along who might even be better.
Yeah. Right. But you said you have you own the character. So if they're gonna make a show of it, how do you still have control over how it turns out, or could you say no, you can't do that, or are it more
the interpretation maybe?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this much: we have a showrunner and a producer, and we had to make a presentation to present to the things, and the showrunner and I argued a lot. He got some of what he wanted. I got some of what I wanted. It's a collaboration.
Yeah. Okay.
And after the contracts are signed, they may tell me to disappear.
Okay. Yeah.
But right now, I'm there and I am helping. And they're allowing me to help them with what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna round this off a little bit. We know that you have stuff to do and people to meet, but we all give a big thank you to you for coming to our podcast and ask if we could take a picture with you for our podcast, if that's okay.
No.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, great. Is there anything you would like to talk about? Anything else coming up other than the things you've talked about before? Anything you'd like to put some light on?
I think we covered pretty much everything. And anything else I'd want to talk to would probably give me trouble getting back into the States.
Yeah, we don't want any trouble for you. But a big thanks. I have a last...
I have one thing.
Yeah, take the last one.
You have no power over this, I know that. But one thing I would like to see more is the only good thing coming from the Eternals movie and that is Pip
Pip
the
the
Troll.
Troll and Arrows.
I screamed in the theater when I saw it. Pip the Troll!
I go to a lot of the premieres, but I didn't go to that one because I had some commitment. And for weeks beforehand, they said, "You sure you can't come?" I told you I can't come. And they wouldn't tell me that Eros and Pip were at the end. And I only found out afterwards. But I think Oswald as Pip was just he's terrific. He was perfect.
Yeah,
Great. Yeah, it's a huge honor to have you here, and it's really glad we can sit down for a while to talk to you.
Well, it's been fun. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna come by your table because we have one of us isn't here. If you look behind me, almost every character in the club is here. You can see the big guy is over there. That's you one. Simon is actually
I'm over here.
So he's just a little plastic guy. But then you have Rasmus on the corner there. He's standing over there. He's the beautiful fellow. We have Christer, who's sitting over here. And see where I am. I'm the runner.
So it's only Greenie who's missing.
He's Marcus. He's called. He's homesick, and he was very, very sad because he really likes your work. And we have something. I think you have something. Two stuff that he really wanted to get signed, if that's okay later.
Sure.
But thank you so much for being at the podcast, and we hope we see you more times, and we look forward to maybe seeing a Dread Star series.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, you take care then.